There's a pattern this market has been showing me for 5 days now, and I want to walk you through it because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Welcome to Invest AI Savvy, where AI powers smart investing. Welcome to Friday, May 15th, 2026. I'm Ken Carpenter. Every morning this week, I've come to this microphone, opened the BuzzPulse brief, and found the same thing. One name in the watch column, zero signals at convergence, a list that looks more like a warning label than a shopping list. Day one, you call it Monday. Day two, you call it a quiet tape. By day five, you stop calling it anything and you start asking what the market is actually doing while pretending to do nothing. That is what today is going to be about. Quick housekeeping first. This show is for educational purposes only. It's not investment advice. Please do your own research. Consult a licensed financial professional. Don't bet the rent on anything I say. Now, here we go. 5 mornings in a row, the algorithm has scanned the entire universe, thousands of stocks, thousands of tokens, and produced one name worth a second look. The VIX is at 18.8, up 9% over 5 days, which is the market quietly clearing its throat without yet saying anything. Bonds sold off overnight globally. Attention is back on the Strait of Hormuz, which markets had apparently decided to forget about. The president's trip did not produce the diplomatic result that anybody was hoping for. And yet the S&P 500 is not crashing. The NASDAQ is not crashing. Everything's mostly fine. Mostly. What does it look like when a market is doing something without telling you what it's doing? It looks exactly like this week. And here's the name that has been sitting in the watch column all 5 days. BMNR, a Z-score of 3.4. Social attention statistically elevated. Setup score 0. Price down 2.3% in the last 24 hours and down most of the days before that. Which brings me to the lesson hiding inside today's brief and inside all 5 mornings of this week. It's a concept called divergence, and once you understand it, you'll see it everywhere. Picture a stock. Normally, when people talk about a stock more than usual, 2 things move together. The conversation goes up, the price goes up. More attention pulls in more buyers, at least for a minute. That is the boring, expected, healthy version. Buzz and price agreeing. Now, divergence is when those 2 things disconnect. The chatter spikes, the price falls, or the chatter spikes and the price doesn't move at all. The signal and the price are pointing in opposite directions. And the question is, which one is lying? There are 2 possible answers. The first answer, the optimistic one, is that smart money is quietly buying while everyone else is distracted by the noise, and the price will catch up with the attention soon. And that happens. Not often, but it happens. The second answer is the one that fits BMNR right now. When you actually read what people are saying about the stock, they're not saying this is an opportunity. They're saying, I hope this holds. They're watching a price support level the way a passenger watches turbulence, hoping it stops, not understanding the mechanics. There is no fundamental catalyst they can point to. No earnings beat coming, no institutional accumulation showing up in the data, just a room full of nervous holders talking to each other to feel less alone about being nervous. Traders have a word for what happens to a stock when this pattern goes on too long. They call it overheld. Everyone who would buy the stock for the wrong reasons has already bought it. There are no new buyers at the current price. There are only people hoping. And eventually, people who are hoping get tired of hoping, they sell, and the stock drops to a level where actual buyers exist again. They call that a capitulation flush. And it's not the same thing as a crash. It's more like the air going out of a balloon that was never going to stay inflated. So that's BMNR. Buzz up, price down, no fundamentals underneath. The textbook bad version of the divergence picture. Now, I want to show you the other side of that coin because there's one other name on the screen this morning, and on the surface, it looks similar. Elevated chatter, statistical anomaly on the buzz, greed score in the magic zone. The kind of name where if you weren't paying close attention, you might lump it in with BMNR and decide the whole list is noise. The ticker is ONDS, ONDS. The company is called ONDS Inc., and what they do is build private wireless radio networks and autonomous drone systems. Their customers are defense agencies, homeland security, border patrol, ports, airports, and energy infrastructure. The buzzwords are counter drone, mission critical communications, autonomous systems. They make the radios that let secure networks talk to each other in places where the public internet isn't safe enough, and they make the drones that fly all over those networks. Headquartered in West Palm Beach and trades on the NASDAQ. Here's what the BuzzPulse brief flagged this morning. Elevated social chatter on ONDS. The narrative being passed around online is a comparison to Palantir, that ONDS could be the early innings of multi-year run from a small base. And I told you earlier in the week that when the only thing driving a name is a Reddit comparison to a previous winner, you're looking at hope wearing a price tag. So why did ONDS show up on BuzzPulse today? Let me give you the part the social chatter does not lead with. Yesterday, ONDS reported first quarter earnings. Revenue came in at $50.1 million. That's a tenfold increase over the same quarter last year, 10 times. They beat their own guidance. They beat analyst estimates. They raised full year revenue guidance to at least $390 million, and they hit product level positive earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, ahead of schedule. Over the past 12 months, the stock is up nearly 1,000%. This is what I want you to see. This is the moment BMNR and ONDS both showed up on the BuzzPulse screen this morning with elevated chatter. Same surface signal, but underneath, they are not the same thing at all. BMNR is buzz with nothing under it. ONDS is buzz with a 10x revenue print under it. The chatter is the same kind of loud. The reason for the chatter is completely different. This is exactly what divergence is supposed to help you see. The question is never, are people talking? The question is always, are people talking because something happened, or are people talking because they wish something would happen? And here's the part where I have to be straight with you, because this show is built on transparency. The BuzzPulse brief this morning surfaced ONDS with the Palantir comparison as the headline catalyst. It didn't lead with the earnings beat. The earnings story was sitting one layer underneath in the news flow, not in the social narrative the algorithm extracted. That's on BuzzPulse. The system is built to detect convergence, and yesterday afternoon, ONDS had real convergence. Earnings beat, raised guide, profitability, plus retail attention, and the brief only captured the retail attention half. The setup score is 0 this morning because the system did not stitch the earnings event together with the social spike. We're going to look at that this weekend. For you, this morning, the lesson stands either way. Two names, same buzz signal. Read what is actually underneath each one before you do anything. BMNR is hope, ONDS is news. They look identical until you look one click deeper. Here's what I'm watching into the close. If BMNR finally sees a volume surge and the chatter shifts from fear to momentum, that capitulation could resolve a real entry. If it doesn't, this thing keeps grinding lower and the patient money gets a better price next week. If the VIX punches above 20 on any headline this weekend, the whole tape tilts and Monday looks different. If ONDS holds these levels through the close on a Friday after a 10x revenue print, that tells you something about how the market is digesting a real catalyst in a thin tape. Tomorrow is Saturday. We'll do a full weekend review, including a closer look at ONDS with the full picture and see what this strange, quiet, divergent week was actually doing while we weren't looking. I'm Ken Carpenter. This is Invest AI Savvy, and that's the way it is.